All right, welcome back everybody to another episode of Ken's Gone Gold Mining. I'm back here at our site, at our claims. We got a bunch of stuff that's happening since the last time I was here, and I'll get into that right after this with you. Gosh, where do I want to start with you? So, seems to be happening a lot, and I don't say I'm ever going to get used to it, but constantly dealing with breakdowns and equipment breakdowns and stuff like that. And it's always a bit of a nightmare, but we deal with it. So this morning we've got our loader out of commission and one of our excavators out of commission, and we've got a company from Williams Lake coming out here to fix that stuff up for us today. We're in full production at our China farm test pit. I'll take you down there a little later on to show you that. And on our main site, looking at our 43101 report that we had done, we're in an area, we're about 30 feet down right now, and from 30 to 60 feet down there's very, very little gold, but at 60 feet down it gets into significant amounts of gold, like a mainstream. So we've got our bulldozer and one of our excavators and a dirt truck, big dump truck, clearing away 30 feet of material. And this morning, right now, I'm gonna clean some dirt. We're going to go into the cleaning plant here, and we've got a bunch of stuff set up in the plant, in the station, and I'm going to be putting a whole bunch of dirt through the high banker and helping our guys to get the gold out of the dirt. All right, so obviously there's security that we have to look at when we're doing this as well, because gold's trading at $4,700 an ounce, and it's not that we don't trust any of the folks that work here. I think that the team we have working at this mine are probably some of the most trustworthy people I've ever met in business, to be honest with you. But just to keep things really clean and make sure that we have our own systems in place for everything that we're doing, we've got basically a wash building, a cleaning building. And inside of this building, there's a couple different pieces I'm going to show you right now, piece of equipment. So one of the things we're in the middle of right now, we should have this finished today. This is actually what you call a shaker table. And this is for all your fine materials. When you're doing the cleaning system, you're always going to get to a point where there's fine dust type gold in loose material, and it's near impossible to get out of. So what we do is we save all of that. We've got several buckets full of sand and gold here. And this little table, you can see it's mounted on a concrete pad because it shakes like crazy. And later on, we're going to get water hooked up to it. We're going to give this thing a go, and this shakes so fast and so rapidly that it will separate all the fine gold from all the loose material. So we're really excited about that. That little piece of kit, just for the table itself, it was about $18,000 US, and then of course the pad and everything it sits on. So you're probably into it for about $25,000 when you do that. And then if we run around here, here's what I'm going to be working on this morning, helping our main man John here. This big guy here in the corners, we call this a high banker. Well, I don't say we call it a high banker, that's what it is. Essentially, all of the mats come out of the wash plant. And the mats are these miners' mats. They're really amazing. They trap all the gold in it. So what you do, they come back, we pull the mats out of the equipment, we bring them back here, and then we wash all the mats into this tote. And inside of this tote right now, there is, I want to say 50, 60 pounds worth of dirt, rock material, and gold. And the first step of what I'm going to do right now is I'm literally going to fire all this stuff up here while John's working on doing some fine cleaning for us, and I'm going to help him out by loading it all into this hopper at the top here. High pressure water is going to hit it from two sides, and all of the gold and fine material passes through the grate, goes down into the bottom here, and gets caught in all these areas. And of course, God willing, we'll process all that material, then we'll stop and we'll see a whole bunch of gold up there. Comes all the way down through, and it's about, I don't know, about 8 or 10 feet of mats that are designed for this. Once that's done, we'll take all these mats out, we'll clean it all out of there. Now we've eliminated like all the coarse rock and a lot of the dirt. So the coarse rock will all go into here because it can't fit through the circles. And then of course the gold is heavier than all the dirt, right? So all the gold is going to get stuck in these mats, and the dirt will go right down into the end here. Now, you notice that we're saving all this dirt here. It's all here. And eventually, at some point in time, we will process all that. We'll probably put it on the table or do something with it just to make sure that this is kind of like us just confirming that we're not losing any gold off the end of this. That's how all that works. So we'll get this out of here, we'll clean the mats, then we bring it into this guy. And this little guy is an amazing piece of equipment. You can see this is called a Vortex Drop Riffle. Another piece of equipment that cost us over $10,000. I think anything in mining starts at $10,000. I think they might all have a rule that everybody wants to make money. Anyway, so we really gingerly put all that really fine material with the gold in it into here. All the gold will get trapped in this rubber mat at the top and in the first couple layers of this. And a lot of the extra material will go right off the end of it again. And then once we're finished, all we do is we put a bucket under this little piece right here, and then we tip this thing up like this, and we just wash it all out. And then from there, it's panning, which is a really neat system. So I'm going to get this all set up. I'll turn the camera back on. I am not a miner by any stretch of the imagination. I've got one of our mine managers here with me right now who kind of becomes, I'm going to use a polite word and say a mentor to me while I'm here. Actually, he's a really good guy. He hates cameras, but I'll show you a little flip of just give a little wave to the camera, John. Whoa. An amazing human being. Lots of experience in mining, and so together we're going to push a lot of material today, and hopefully we can show you some gold at the end of this little part. All right, so I'm halfway through this. We did the big tote. We're already seeing gold at the top of this. We stopped for a second. Now what I'm doing is taking these big buckets of dirt and feeding them one shovel at a time into this hopper here. Let me actually grab the camera. Now, forgive me if this is wonky, because I'm gonna do this with one hand and show you with the other how this process works. Into there, there's all the dirt. Now there's gold in that there dirt. Bring it up into here, and there you go. We just lightly shovel all that right into there. Go back in here, grab another scoop of it. Make sure you don't lose any on the way up. Put it in there. And that's what this is all about. Now, I'm gonna just leave this run here a bit. We might end up fast forwarding this because you're gonna see me doing the same shit over and over and over again. All right, if you guys have any questions as I'm doing this, just go ahead and drop your questions into the chat. I know you guys like to see the gold. So that's what's just come out right now, that and this. So this is all the stuff we didn't pick out. It's not the finest material in the world, but that's what this is all about right there. Let me get back to this arm strengthening work. Okay, well, things are going well here at the mine. Not as well as we want to, obviously. Our goal is 10 ounces a day, and we're not close to it right now. But on the good side, we've been doing our mining at our test pit at the China farm that I've been telling everybody about. We're using a shaker plant there that only allows us to do about 20 yards an hour. So we figure we did about 400 yards. I was corrected. I thought it was 600 yards. And from 400 yards, we were able to get just over 3.5 ounces of gold. Let me turn it around and show you. There's the final product. Really clean gold. There's some really decent sized nuggets in there, stuff like that. And it's going really well. Let's do a little walk and talk. I want to show you guys another piece of the project that's going on here. I'm just going to walk up to our main pit. So this is the area where the 4 acres of land, as everybody knows, if you go back and look at the YouTube series from last year, we had the drilling teams in here. And then over the winter, we had a 43-101 report completed, and things are going really well. I'm going to see if I can take you guys up to an area where we've got some work going on with the team here. And there's a little surprise for me. We've trucked about, I want to say 800 to 1,000 yards of dirt up here to our main site because our shaker plant at the test pit can only do 20 yards an hour. So we did the math and we decided it was worth burning the fuel on our big rock truck to get the dirt up here. But now that we've got it up here, the guys have some stuff moving around up here. Looks like they're about to fire up the big de-rocker plant and push through that 800 yards, see what we can get out of that. Major operation going on here, and I'm excited about how we're putting this all together. And it all seems to be coming together. Now, I got to figure out a way to walk through here without killing myself. And of course, me trying to record a video at the same time is probably not the smartest idea in the world, but we're going to do it. Equipment is expensive. So this is an international truck that we bought last year for 40 grand. We turned this into our fire vehicle. So in the event of fires, we've got that on standby. We use it for other things that we're doing at the same time. We got those guys getting ready, but let me take you down to where we're clearing out everything. So what we realized looking at the reports that we had, it indicated that there was average amounts of gold for the first 30 feet down, and we started cleaning a lot of it, but we weren't seeing the numbers at all. So we had to make a strategic decision because we're at the beginning of September now, and we only have, if we're lucky, 2 months left. So we decided we're going to take all the overburden, I guess you want to call it, because there's no gold in it, from 30 feet down to 60 feet down. Because at 60 feet down, there's a main vein, if you will, where significant amount of golds are. So we've got a bunch of stuff going on here. So let me just turn this around for you. So I mentioned this to everybody before. Up there is ground zero where they were drilling at that height. So already we've come down 30 feet. And you can see what 30 feet looks like on the other side. And there's the bulldozer up there. This is our D7 bulldozer that we have on site here. This bulldozer is a beast. This equipment is not expensive, or not cheap, I gotta tell you. We bought it for just over 150 grand, but then once we got that here, we realized that it needed major work, so we put it into the Caterpillar program. Thank you to Caterpillar and Finnings for doing this for us. They put about 300 grand to work in it. Now it's working like new, and the bulldozer is pushing dirt all the way through this area, and we're gonna take it all down to 60 feet where we're gonna start mining here. The guys think it's gonna take about 8 days to do this. Obviously, we're gonna burn a lot of fuel as we're doing this. You can see what's actually happening here, and essentially the bulldozer is working away, taking this whole area. Now, to give you some perspective on this, that bulldozer, another excavator, and a rock truck in 8 days are going to take this entire area down by 30 feet. So I don't know if you'll get a good view for this. It's hard for you guys to really get a feeling of it, but let me just turn this around. Maybe this will help. So here I am. If I can put this back here and you can see, no, you won't even be able to see the height, but there you go. Look at that, all the way up there. Anyway, that's what's happening here. The guys are working really hard at it. Now let's take a trip down to China Farm. I'll jump in the truck and I'll show you what's going on down there. All right, here we are down at the China Farm test pit. So we have a permit here as part of our exploration and figuring out where we're gonna go next for an area that we call the China Farm. The reason we call it the China Farm is because it is right on the border of the bullion pit. Now, if you wanna know more about that, go ahead and Google it, but essentially this was an area that was mined between 1880 and 1940, mostly by Chinese nationals who came to Canada, and they pulled almost 1 million ounces of gold out of here in this time. So I can't really give you much more explanation than others saying the China Farm, the bullion pit is that way, less than 300 yards, I think, or it's about a quarter of a mile. And with a test pit, it gives us the legal ability to mine in an area, a small area. It's basically 30 meters by 30 meters. And we will go down as deep as we can inside of this 30 by 30 space, and it's exploration. So it's to see what kind of gold is here. Now, we know from all kinds of little sampling we were doing in the past that there's a significant amount of gold here. And this is the plant where we got the 3 ounces that I just showed you from 400 yards. So we know it's working, and now we're just digging away here. And what we've got set up here, this is one of our main staff members here. His name is Junior, and he is an expert in heavy equipment, an amazing human being. And essentially, the area is right over there where all the dirt is coming from, and he's putting it into this shaker plant, and the shaker plant does about 20 yards an hour. And I think he's having a little bit of an issue with the shaker plant at this moment, but I'm gonna just try and go over to another location and see if I can get a better angle to show you exactly what he's doing. Okay, we're in a bit of a standstill right now because Junior is refilling the diesel tank on the pump that pumps the water out of our lagoon into the wash plant. But let me explain how this works. You can see the big 4 or 6 inch tube that sends water up into a series of spray bars on the top. When he turns on the wash plant, that whole top bucket there is going to shake like crazy, and it's on a bit of an angle. So what happens is, as all of the pay dirt gets loaded in at the far end, it shakes through underneath the spray bars. The spray bar, the high pressure water, separates all the rock from all the pay dirt with the gold in it, and then there's a chute right at the end there that the gold and the dirt goes down into this series of sluice mats here. All the gold's going to get caught right up here in the top part of this, and then all of the fine dirt that's left over, which is called tailings, goes down into this pond. And then every couple hours, John has to dig that out, throw it over there, it dries out, and then disperses it over here in this area. So we're just gonna let him get the fuel truck, or the pump all fueled up, and then we're gonna watch it in action. All right, check this out. So you can see the high pressure water coming out of the nozzles at the top. That's what separates all the rock from the pay dirt, and then you can see where, if you look carefully, where the water goes down the back of the plant and then over the sluice mats. And what's really cool about this, everything for us is about remediation. It's about honoring nature, honoring the surroundings that we're working in. So we even reuse the water. So it's a recirculating system. Water goes down into this part of the pond with all the dirt in it, and we've got it set up so that all the dirt stays here because of the separation. The water flows back over there and we use it again. So now we've got Junior's gonna jump up in the excavator, and you can watch this whole thing in action. Now, that bucket holds about 2 yards of material. So Junior's able to do, yesterday he did 190 buckets. They count the buckets. So at 190 buckets, he's doing close to 400 yards in a day. And if we can get decent amounts, we can do all okay with this while we're digging down on the other side. Now, to put it into perspective for everybody, it took me about 25 minutes to drive here from our main site in our trusty site truck. And you can see Junior has to be very smart about how he's dropping that dirt down. You don't want to overwhelm the wash plant. You got to gingerly put it in a rhythmic pattern so that none of the gold is washed away. What you see happening here is all of the big rock rolls right off the edge into that pit, and every once in a while he'll clean up that pit and put it back there, and then all the dirt comes down here. And we're piling all the tailings behind me here, and then all the dirt, the rock is all behind him. So once we're finished our test pit, we'll put everything back in place. Hopefully by then. We actually have a permit that we've applied for this whole area through the BC government. Now, I don't want to be insulting or say anything bad, but it really feels like the BC government is either understaffed or they're not operating with urgency, because we applied for the permit to mine this area, which we have the legal right to do, already 18 months ago, and it's going through a process. The other miners around here tell me that it could take another year. That's how slow they've been. So if I ever get the chance to, if anybody from the BC government is watching this video, I'd really love to get involved in conversations and designing systems that we could expeditiously get these permits approved, because having it tied up in the BC government for 18 months already, once the BC government is done with it, then it has to go to the First Nations who have, territorial rights over this land and are kind of the overseers of the land. And we have to meet with them and negotiate a deal for them to approve or sign off on our permits. That process is going to take some time as well. So for the BC government to have already taken 18 months and maybe another 6 or 8 months before they get it approved, friends, something is wrong there. Something is not going right. And I'd love to, if there's ever a chance for a mine owner to get involved in discussions and see how we can improve this process, I'd love to be a part of it. Let's take a look at see what Junior's doing here. So you can see he's just slowly putting that in. It's all going into the high pressure sprayers. All the big rocks are being thrown out the back end, and then all the fines with the gold in it goes into those mats, and all the gold gets caught. Gold is heavier than the water, so as soon as it goes to the mats, it literally stops. Let's go look at this from a different angle. There you go. So now you can see what we're doing. You can see how he's really slowly just tapping that bucket and putting that material into the plant where it gets hit by that high pressured water. Then at the end of every day, they take the mats out, and those mats that you guys saw us cleaning in the first part, this is where it came from. Hey, let's jump in the truck. I'll leave the camera on and I'll let you get a feel for how long it takes to drive back to the main site. Oh, goodness gracious. So beautiful out here. It's an amazing, amazing part of this country, and it's a real blessing for us to be able to do this. And I think we're right on the verge of hitting major, major gold deposits, and you guys will know about it. All right, let me get this truck turned around. And this is a road that we actually built with our bulldozer. And it is not a fun road to drive. This is a hemorrhoid creating road. We're sitting on very cushy pillows to make it the impact less. And it ain't a straight road by any stretch of the imagination. Got to give her a little bit of gas here just to get up this hill. Look at that freaking climb. It's about a 45-degree angle. And the tires are spinning all the way up. It's a little scary. So this is our China Farm road. We put in this road just to get to the China Farm site where we've applied for our permit. It's like off four-wheel driving, off-roading. Good God. Here we go. Here's our major intersection. As we scale this mine, one day this is going to be a major intersection. So we'll have radios and we'll have a light standard there, stop and go, just to make it safe for everybody here. Now we're going down the final stretch. It's about a 3-kilometer stretch back to our main mining site. There we go, check that out. Look at the size of that pit. 4 acres of space we're working on there. Let's see if I can you guys see that? Crazy. You really get a feel for how high up it is down here. Well friends, I'm heading back down here now. I'm gonna grab all the gold that's there, that's done. Grabbing a flight later this afternoon back down to Vancouver, and I'm gonna drop that gold off at our refiners, turn it into cash so we can pay our people, buy some more gas, and keep this train moving. See you soon.